Let's talk about this jig. That jig's sparkly, it's flashy. It's got a hackle tail, 16th ounce minnow head, UV resin coated eyes on there. I've already UV resin coated the eyes. But what we're going to do is we're going to tie this jig. We're going to start out from scratch, except for with the painted head and the eyes already UV resin coated on. If anybody's interested on how I do those eyes, let me know, and I will try to do another video and get a little more in depth on how I do the eyes. When I first started, I made those eyes out to be horrible, the hardest thing ever, and I just had to do it, find my way to do it, the way that would help, the way that was easiest for me. And if it'll help you, I'll do a video on that also. Just let me know. But let's get to it. Let's tie this jig. Let us start from the beginning. All right, so what we got in the vise today is a 16th ounce minnow head. We're going to do some chartreuse green colors, some white in the tail. Going to see what we come up with. I've got the camera on the back side, so I'm kind of stuck in between the camera and the jig. So might get a little bit of movement, might want to play a little bit, but we're going to start out Sally Hansen's Hard as Nails, and we got a number 4 sickle hook in that vise. So we're going to start out with just a little light coat of that on there. You can see that little drip on it. That little drip is going to be plenty more than enough. So we are going to be using 220 or 210 denier ultra thread on this jig. We're going to start right here behind the head, give it a nice few wraps, and then we're going to start trying to catch the rest of that thread all the way down, right to the point of your hook. You get right to that hook point, work your way back up. And you can go an extra layer if you want. You can go a couple more. I see a lot of people that will run that 2 or 3 times before they get it to where they want it at. I think 2 wraps, wrap down and wrap back up, is usually more than enough. We're going to be using hackle feather. I've already pre-cut it. Cut it about 1.5 lengths longer than the shank of the hook. We're going to get it set up to where we want it at. Let's go a little bit closer. Let's see if we can get that all on there. And we're going to lay it right there on the shank of that hook. And we're going to do light, nice little wraps all the way down to the point. Make sure we got it the way we want it. Looks pretty good. So now we're going to come back up, and we're going to make our tightening wraps coming from the bottom side up. So when you come up right here, you get on the bottom shank of that hook, make that to where you want to get tight at. Come back up to the head and stop right there. Now we want to fill that tail up just a little bit more than that, so we're going to add 2 more. And you can make these a little bit shorter, you can make them a little bit longer, you can stagger them, you can lay them on the side, but we're going to go right there on the top of it again. Same way. Little wraps, kind of check it, make sure it's where you want it at. Now we're going to start pulling it tight back up, all the way back up to the head of that jig. Gonna get it right there. Well, our chartreuse one completely come out. We missed it. It was just a little bit shorter than that white one, but we got a pretty good ways with this minnow head that we can fill that body up, so we can go a couple extra wraps on it. Ain't really gonna hurt anything. There we go. Now we got it. So let's go back out. Next, what we're gonna do is we're gonna add some crystal flash. It's just a little bit different fluorescent than the rest of it, but enough to just enough to kind of make it stand out a little bit more, a little bit different color. And I go pretty heavy when I do my flash. Flash is one of those things when you buy it, you can make flash last for a long time. We're gonna get it all in there, get it all hooked up. We're gonna wrap that flash in, and we're probably gonna trim a little bit of it off. I think we got just a little bit too long on that one. So let's wrap it all the way back up. Let's roll it over, let's see what we got. Make sure we got everything on that side good. And it looks that way. And we've already UV resin coated those eyes on that head. That color paint I'm using is candy yellow, which comes out kind of a green chrome looking color. I think it's kind of neat. It's kind of a cool color. It's kind of chartreuse, but it's still kind of really not. And for Chanel, we're going to be using Pearl Chanel medium fluorescent chartreuse. That came from the Plateau Fly Shop. I went and got it yesterday. There's a part number on it, so if you're looking it up from Wapsie, it's going to make it a little bit easier for you to find it. So we're going to take that whole card out. And we're going to get it off here. That right there is all we need, but I don't want it sitting behind me flopping around, so we're going to set it back there. Let's go a little bit closer on this one again. We're going to put it right there behind the head. We're going to stretch it out right down the shank of that hook. Go right down to where you finish wrapping your feathers. And pull it back up. And we're going to take our bobbin and we're going to pull it down just a little bit to make sure it's out of the way. And then we're going to start wrapping. Make sure I got enough room here. It makes it awkward when you're standing on the back side of it like this. It'd almost been better if I just watched it through the camera. Get it all wrapped up real good. Make your last wrap right on the other side of your thread. Pour your Chanel over the other side of your thread. Reach down and grab it. Put a wrap right there that's going to catch it and hold on to it. Now when I get right there, I pull my Chanel back this way, run my bobbin back through one more time. I'm going to go back. We're going to tighten it down a few times. We're going to take our scissors and we're going to cut it off as close to that thread as we can without cutting your thread. So usually what I do is I get the head turned just a little bit, let the bobbin hang off toward the side, and we're going to reach down here and just snip it off. We're going to do a couple more wraps right there. And we are going to take our whip finish. This might be a challenge. Hook it down through the bottom loop, pull it up, make a triangle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pull it down, pop it out. And you could do another knot right there if you want to. What I've seen, what I've been experimenting, that one knot's more than enough. And that's our finished product. It's a nice looking jig. We're going to put it right there, and we're going to take just a little bit. We're going to take just a little bit of UV resin. And let me find that bottle. Let me show you what I've been using. I go to Michael's Hobby Store, and this is what I buy for UV resin. It's light cure UV resin, high gloss. It's used for a lot of things, but you get 3.68 ounces for, I think this bottle was like $11 or $12. I got it at Michael's. You might be able to find it at Hobby Lobby. As long as it is light cure, it should work. I've had a lot of comments about people saying that the UV resin they're getting isn't curing. And we're just going to brush a little bit right there. Going to brush just a little bit right down there behind the head. And we're going to take our UV light and we're going to hit it. We're just going to hold it right there for just a couple seconds, and that'll be enough to strengthen that up. The best way to cure these, honestly, is the sunlight. You get the UV resin on them, hang them out in the sun on a rack, and they will dry so much faster. You can even put them in the windowsill. Windowsill will work also, just as long as you got sunlight coming through. Check your weather app, see what it says for your UV index. If the UV index is anywhere between medium to high, you shouldn't have any problem with that UV resin curing. That's it. That's all we got for this one. Let's zoom in on it. Looks like a big mess when it's all zoomed in. It's not really focusing all that well, but you can kind of see where the thread wraps real good. You kind of see where I didn't get the eye completely clean. All the paint's cleaned out of it, but when you zoom in on it like that, it makes it really stand out. Shows you how much is left in there. So let's pop it out. Let's turn it sideways and take a look at it. See what y'all think. And there it is. You can see all that sparkle on the back of it. It's got a lot of flash in it. I get people that order jigs and want flash, and I get people that order jigs and say they don't want flash. If nobody tells me what they want, I'm usually going to add a lot of flash in. If you don't like it, you can always reach in with a pair of scissors, snip it off, pull it out. One thing about this jig is I probably could have went just a little bit further up with the chenille, made the body just a little bit longer, but it still come out pretty good. I like it. I'd fish with it. I'm pretty sure it'll slap a fish in the mouth. That's all I got for today, guys. Like I said, this was the chenille I was using. Pearl chenille medium fluorescent chartreuse. There's part number CP2509. It came from Wapsi. Thread I was using, 210 ultra thread. Can't remember the name of the bobbin. It's totally lost it for the name of it. It's a good bobbin. It's good holding that heavier thread. I like that spot right there to be able to hold it, get in there nice and good with it. If you got any questions, let me know. Comments, I welcome all the comments. I actually enjoy trying to read all the comments, and I try to answer every single one I get. So you got any questions or need to know anything else about this jig, just send me a message and let me know. Till next time, we'll see you guys.